How y'all doing? I'm gonna let you a few more minutes to join me. Today we're gonna talk about musicians. While you're here, I want to play something to you. It's unreleased, but because you are a guest on my YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're watching, I want to play something to you. It's my new release. I'm gonna play you the song. And I want to know what you guys think about the song. It's called Enigma. It's going to be released very, very soon. Let me see. Why is nothing working today? This is so annoying. Da 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 da. Oh, okay, there you go. Without religion, Russia on a glass. Woman but no children, but I'm a fucking boss. On a cross, it's a loss, cause I'm fighting with my words. And I'll kick you with my punch, like Messi when he scores. I'm tired of your own giving me advice. If I needed your opinion, I think I would have asked. So shut up, baby boy, I gotta put a show when you're scrolling OnlyFans. The way you know, fighting for equality can be a lie. Shifting ideologies, my God. But here I am, cause fuck it, tried, someone gotta do it. I'll put my shield to scare the sheep until the head is moving. Bam, ba bam, bam, bam. Let me show you how. Bam, ba bam, bam, bam. Shit's gonna go down. I'm an enigma. 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 Девочка из фильма, рэпер, поп-звезда. Русская энигма всегда и никогда. Зато я не такая, как бы вам хотелось. Я думаю, что норма сплошная ерунда. Да-да, да я не для всех, ну и это же не грех. И так буду дальше жить, свобода для меня успех. Пам-па-бам-пам-пам, моя жизнь вам концерт. Пам-па-бам-пам-пам, так аплодируйте. I'm an enigma. I'm an enigma. I'm an enigma. I'm an enigma. Let me show you. So, Matt, you were asking how long it took me to record and to release. So this specific song was in my drawer for a long time because I couldn't find... I couldn't find the third verse, like the bridge, the hook. Like it was recorded, the verses were recorded for like a long time. I think I finished recording it a long time ago, and then something was missing, and it was only recently that I was like, I know what's missing, I know what to do. So my producer and I were thinking about it, and we finally found something that we can do. And so I recorded it, I think the last part like around a month ago, and then he produced it, he mixed and mastered the track. And so basically now it's already ready, but I need to release it. So it's going to be released in January because I don't want to release it before the holidays. I don't think it makes sense. And today, as we talk about musicians and being a musician, I think it kind of relates to what I'm talking about, because as much as I want to release the song now, I don't think it's very smart, because in the end of the day, it's holiday season. Like everyone is like Christmassy vibe and Christmas song, and I don't think that it makes sense. So that's why, it's technically ready, but I think the whole process took more than a year just because it was sitting in the drawer and kind of like waiting its moment. But at the same time, I'm still working on other things. So that's amazing. I'm working on a whole new album. The other day on the studio, if you saw my stories, I was in the studio with Chris and we were recording the song that's called Use Me, that's going to come out on Valentine's Day. And this is the song. Like this song is so old, but I transform it into something new. So it became a new song, and we finally recorded it, and it's in the editing process, and it's in the mixing process. It's going to be released on Valentine's. And after Use Me, after the Valentine's song, all the songs that I'm going to record and release, it's going to be part of the album. So I'm going to give you little peeks of the album that's going to come out. But I think I'm going to... The album called Diaries, and it's... I think it's like around 10 or 11 songs, which I only have 2 recorded until now. So I still have a long way to go. But I think it's going to be released less than a year from now, hopefully. I mean, some songs for sure, and then I'm going to drop the entire album. I'm hoping, around like a year from now. The album comes out next month. No, so next month I'm releasing Enigma, which is a single that is unrelated to the album. And then the album, I'm still working on it. So we have 2 songs coming out before the album, which is super exciting because one is Enigma, the other one is Use Me. It's a collaboration that I'm doing with my producer. So there's a lot of sounds of electronica and some dubstep and things like that. Use Me is also with Chris Batista, because I was looking for a rapper and his voice just set right on this song. So we recorded it the other day and I'm super excited. And then after I record Use Me on Valentine's, this is when I'm stopping with the singles and I'm doing albums, and I'm working on my album. So this is very, very exciting. This comes together also with a second book, the diaries book that I'm going to release. You need to join Def Jam. What do you mean by that? What do you mean exactly? What else? Anyway, did you see my book that I released on Amazon? Pretty and Alone, Simply Vika, poetry. I get a lot of good reviews about it and I'm promoting it all the time here on the channel. So please buy it if you didn't. And if you did buy it, please leave a review because it's going to help me so, so much. But after, I already told you everything, but where is this? Oh, there you go. So I prepared a really interesting episode for you. And it's basically kind of like musicians in New York City, what it is to be a musician, what it's like. I'm going to talk a little bit about my day, my day-to-day and what I do to be a musician in the city and how I navigate between the budgets and the collaborations and, life, paying rent and all that. So I kind of want to talk about that because I feel like coming to New York as a musician, it's not easy. And I know we talked about being a creative, doing in the entrepreneurship specifically, but I want to talk about what it's like to how you grow in the city as a musician, because I feel like after living here for more than 3 years, I kind of got what needs to be done and how you can navigate that. So we're going to mention, budgets, studios, collaborations, where to find people, what you can do, things like that. So if you are a musician, even if you don't live in New York, I feel like it's going to be helpful for you because it's not necessarily about New York. If you live in a big city, that can be fun too, to understand what you can do and how you can utilize the big city into your career, because living in a big city, it has its pros and cons, especially for creatives. So let's talk about that. I have so much. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask me because I am watching your questions here. YouTube, I am here with you. I know you can't ask questions live, but if you have something and you want to add it to the comment section, please do. I'm all up for that. But let's start. What are we going to do? Okay. So coming to the city as a musician, I feel like it's a loaded question because you're like, okay, coming from where? What's the level of, how much I actually making money from being a musician? If I'm at the beginning of my career, it's very different from somebody, somebody who's advanced in their career and really making money from music. So it's a little bit easier to move because music, your income is probably from the online world. If you want your rap album become best in it will become best in 25 manifestations. Yes, but I don't know exactly what that means. So if you can let me talk to you privately later and you can explain to me what you mean by that, because I don't necessarily know. You need to create a contract with Def Jam. I don't know. Def Jam, create a contract. How? Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Let's concentrate on being a musician in the city. So one of the main things, and I think the first thing that you need to think about is obviously rent, right? If you're moving to the big city and you're thinking, okay, let's take into consideration that we are on a budget when we're moving to New York City, because a move is expensive. A move requires a lot out of us, right? A lot of money. You have flight tickets, you have Airbnb in the beginning or hotels, you have all your suitcases, you have deposits in your apartment, you have everything. So rent in New York can be complicated, and I think we talked about it in other episodes. So if you are following the show, you probably know, like, I talked a lot about that, about renting an apartment in New York City, what it requires, what tools you can use to rent an apartment, how to avoid scammers, like we talked about all these things. So I'm not going to mention it again because we have a short episode. I only have like half an hour. But for a musician, let's concentrate specifically on musicians. So when I first came to New York, I had a sublet for 2 months, and I lived in a house. It wasn't an apartment. It was actually a house with 4 other musicians. So they had like a 2-story house, 2 rooms in the basement area, 2 rooms upstairs, and the basement area was basically a studio, which was very annoying for me because I was working like crazy hours, and then I would wake up like at 5 a.m. and I want to go to sleep at 10, but they're like in the studio, which is right outside of my room. So I was like, oh my God, this is not a musician's lifestyle for me, because I was working crazy hours in a bakery. So I would like wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and they would like go to sleep at 4 or 5 a.m. after they finished the session in the studio. So fun for them, less fun for me. But if that's what you're looking for, you should check out these options. In the beginning, obviously, it can be a sublet, because this is great to move here with a sublet, as I talked about previously in previous episodes. Or you can find roommates that are specifically musicians, especially in Brooklyn. There is a lot of options to musicians who live together, who have their own studio, who have their own like practice space in their apartments. So I'm going to mention open mic, Matt. I'm going to mention it later, but now we're talking about apartments, about housing, and you don't want to live in an open mic space, right? Exactly. So, so you can find an apartment with other musicians, with other creatives. It's also going to help you with so many other aspects, because first of all, you're going to meet people. And they're already living here, so they know spaces like open mics, like Matt mentioned. They know spaces like where to perform. They have equipment that you can use until you figure your own out, like if you in a good living situation. If you don't want to live with roommates, there's obviously other options. If you have a little bit more budget, if you have credit score and things like that, and you want to rent your own apartment, I would suggest that as a musician, there are 2 options to go from here, right? Because you need a studio, you need a practice space as a musician. So if you have your own place, if you're renting your own place, Okay, I'm going to mention studio spaces. Okay, so if you live alone, there are 2 options. I'm using both, by the way. I have a studio in my own apartment for recording vocals and everything I need. But at the same time, I can also, if I need something like for a long time, and I need to record a few songs like I had this weekend, I would rent a studio. So if you want to live alone, you can build your mini studio at your apartment. And if you don't have this option, and if you want to utilize like a practice space, or you have something, like if you're loud and your neighbors are problematic, or you need to record something very delicate and your apartment is pretty noisy and there's no isolation, there are cheap options for musicians in the city. I mean Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, like Manhattan, in New York in general. You can find cheap studios. You can find, like Ryan said, studios that musicians come to record. The 2 that I can right now recommend, because I've been there, like on the cheaper, again, we're talking about the cheaper aspects. There's Pirate Studios in Brooklyn. I was there. That's where I recorded last weekend. It's not the best quality, but it does the job. Okay, so if you are on a budget, it can cost like as low as $10 an hour. So if you're on a budget, Pirate Studios, just pirate.com, and you can book a rehearse space or a recording studio for a pretty cheap price, from $10 to $25. That's like the cheaper range. Or you can go like a little bit higher if, depending on the hours or depending on the room that you're getting. But I would say that we got 8 hours for $80. for these rooms, and we managed to record 3 songs. So this was amazing. Again, it's not like in a certain point somebody started playing a really loud beat upstairs and we heard it and we needed to stop the recording, which was a little annoying. But again, for $10 an hour, I can't really like, we knew what we're coming for, you know, like it's not like $100 an hour that you get your own space and everything, but they do have all the equipment. They do have a vocal booth. They do have like a nice space for you, especially if it's rehearsals. For rehearsals, that would be perfect for you because you don't need to record. So you can like kind of like clash with other sounds from coming from other rooms. So that's not like a big problem. There's also, for, I don't know for recording, but for rehearsals in Astoria, if you live in Astoria, there is Astoria Soundworks. I think it's $25 an hour as well, so that's pretty convenient. And you can always like, there's so many ways really you can find. It's like from $10 to $25 you can find a rehearsal space or recording studio that you can go to. So that's also another option if you don't have a recording option or a practice option in your home. Dance studios, what do you mean dance studios? Like record in a dance studio? It has a lot of echoes, so I don't think you want to record in a dance studio. So no, I don't think Astoria Soundworks. Yeah, do you know this one? Yeah, because this one is located in Astoria. It's pretty, like I've been there, and they have good recording rooms, and it's very easy, very convenient, good staff. It's great to see you again. How you doing? Oh wow, I haven't heard from you in a long time. How you been? Oh, it's so nice that you're joining, guys. But yeah, so these are the 2 studios that I recommend because I personally have been there. I'm still looking for more options because, like I said, if you have a little bit more budget and you're looking for something a little bit more like, you know, professional, you can probably, like you for sure can find other options. I just can't recommend them personally because I haven't been there, but definitely a possibility. So yes, and please be aware of scammers when you're renting an apartment. It's very, very important. If it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. It's not true. It's a scam. So please make sure that you're not leasing something from your country and then come in here and you have nothing. Okay, come here, do an Airbnb for a week, do a sublet from a friend or something that you trust, and then find your own place. Okay, don't rent from far away. Don't trust that. There's so many scammers here. You have no idea, you guys. Yes. So as Matt mentioned, he mentioned open mics, and I want to dive into the next topic as being a musician in the city, because obviously being a musician in the city, you need network, you need people. And sometimes it's hard because sometimes we come here to the city and we need to work right away. We need to do all our things, you know, like rent an apartment and open a bank account and do all these things. And then we start working 9 to 5. And then we kind of forget that being a musician requires networking and collaborating with other musicians and just being out there all the time. So, and it's something that I think I'm lacking because I'm so busy all the time and I'm doing like 100 things at once. And sometimes when it comes to going out and actually, like, I don't have the capacity, I don't have the energy, I don't have my social, how do you call that? Like my social limit, or what it's called? Like there is a name for it. Meter. My social meter is like so low and I don't have the energy to do anything. But it's important, and if you want to succeed as a musician in the city, networking, social battery, thank you. Yes. Yes, social battery is low. So, but if you are a social person, it's going to be easier for you. If you are an introvert, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Do it anyway. Especially if you are the person that like likes being locked up in a studio and just work. It's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, at least not in the city. Obviously, if you have an online following, if you do things online, yes, that's great. But in the city, if you want like a local scene, yeah, you need to go out. Now, when I'm saying go out, you probably want to like go out where? To a bar? Not necessarily. Obviously, you can. But I would recommend that if you want to build your social network, if you want to collaborate with other musicians, if you want to get to know the scene, ask your roommates. If you live with the roommates, you know, ask them to take you somewhere, ask them where they are going out. But if you really, really don't know, go online. We all have Google, we all have ChatGPT, and just ask where I can go as a musician. Find open mics, find jam sessions if you are a player, right? If you play music, if for vocalists, obviously open mic is better. But if it's a jam that you can sing at, you can rap, you can freestyle, go there as well. You'll meet other musicians. Sometimes I would go, I don't feel like performing, but I still meet cool people, and sometimes I just go and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna perform today, but then it's kind of fun, so I end up performing. Sometimes I would go, I'm not gonna perform, but I'm gonna see other people. I'm gonna maybe see somebody I like musically, and I can approach them in the end, and I'm maybe like, yo, like, what's your name? Let's exchange contacts because I'm a musician as well, and then we can collaborate later from that, so that's like a good thing. You can go to EventBrite and Meetups, like meetup.com, and search for music events and find them, because there are plenty in the city. There are so many. And also if you like, according to your genre, you can find different things. You're a musician, amazing. Where are you from? I always want to know where you guys are from. It's so interesting to me. But yeah, so where was I? My brain. Yes, so find your local scene according to your genre. It doesn't have to be your genre, but obviously to full. Cool. Well, welcome to Let's Talk New York. I'm talking about different things, but it's not necessarily about New York, so you can benefit those tips as well in your city. We're talking about going to open mics and collaborating with other musicians. So it is important. It's something that I need to work on better. I'm kind of lacking in that area. But yeah, let me know if you're going to open mics, if you're doing that. Because I feel like sometimes I would inspire you, but you have no idea how much you inspire me, like in the DMs, in the things you write to me, in the stories you share with me via DMs. Like, you inspire me as well. So if you are going to jam sessions and open mics, and tell me what you're doing, tell me what you've been up to. And if you have any questions to me, I will be happy to answer you as well. You want to perform where in New York? Please do. Just come perform. It's open to everyone. It's New York City. We're very accepting of everyone who's coming here. So please come and perform here. I know a lot of musicians are also touring to New York. So covering the big cities, like you do a little tour and you cover like Boston, New York, Philly, Chicago. Like if you're in the East Coast area, if you're in the West Coast area, you're going to perform like San Diego, San Francisco, LA, not in this order, but you can go to Vegas and you can kind of like do a little tour. I'm not very familiar with like Midwest and places like that, but I do know like the West Coast and the East Coast. So yeah, a lot of people are just like taking a little car and touring by themselves to different cities just to expand your audience, to practice, to see what it's like to be on tour. Yes, plan a trip. I need to plan a trip too. I kind of like want to do a little tour, but I guess I'm going to do it when I'm releasing my new album, and then I'm going to tour with it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited, you guys. Album coming out soon. Well, not soon. First, I'm going to release Enigma, which is coming out on January 3rd. Those of you who joined later, I have a song coming out on January 3rd. Yes, it's called Enigma. It's going to be very fun. Anyway, I need a sip. I'm talking so much all the time. 1 second, you guys. This cold ass coffee. It took me like an hour to get here. And this is from home. So this is like freezing at this point. But it's okay. It's okay. Cold coffee, iced coffee with no extra charge. Yes, where were we? If you have any questions, by the way, please let me know. I am listening. I am reading your comments, so you can always ask me live and I'm going to answer. What else? Oh, yeah. I also wanted to mention, if specifically for New York, I don't know how it is in other cities. I'm pretty sure supercharged coffee, yeah. It's not helping. I'm still tired. But if you are, I don't know, Matt, maybe you know about when you travel to London. I don't know if they have it, but I know that in New York, we have a lot of resources in the public library that you can get. For example, you can We have a recording studio in the New York Public Library that people don't know about. And I actually went there and I checked, and it exists, and you can get it for free if you go like through a little course. So I don't know, maybe you know if you have anything like that in the UK, in the big cities, I don't know. But I know that in New York it is an option. So you guys, if you can't do the paid studio and you are in New York City, check the New York Public Library. It is for you there for free. And there are other resources you can use. They help you with like businesses and marketing and all that you can really, really use the help of the library to kind of like start building your business. Being a musician is a business. You need to understand that. And which brings me to the next point. If you are a musician, and I guess you are if you're watching this, but if you are a musician, you're a business. Open a business, because there are so many benefits to having your own business and being a musician, being a brand under your own LLC, your own business. There's music workshops and things. Okay, I guess every city has its own, options for, free stuff. So yeah. So for us, it's like the New York Public Library. We do have free workshops. We do have things like that. So just check your city for things, because there's always something. There are always free resources somewhere that you can utilize. But yeah, anyway, coming back to having your own business. Why open your own business as a musician? First of all, tax purposes. You're coming to New York City. You're going to buy equipment. You're going to pay for music. You're going to pay for studio time. You're going to pay for your touring. You're going to pay for so many things out of pocket that if it's a business, you can actually exempt your taxes. So it's going to be beneficial for you. And obviously there are other things. You can get hired as a contractor, get paid legally for that. Like you open yourself doors to bigger companies hiring you because you're a business. So you have liability. Liability, is that how you say it? Insurance, basically, right? Like, because you're under your business, and if something happens, it's under the business and not under your name, So there are a lot of benefits to having a business, but if you're thinking about it from a beginner's perspective, definitely the tax thing, because you're gonna buy a lot of equipment, you're gonna use a lot of your own money out of pocket to develop this business, to make your music, and it all can go under the business. So use that. It's very, very helpful. It's very important. So it's going to help you in the future. Yes. If you want to know specifically about New York, how to open a business, what you need to do, what it requires, there's an amazing episode I did with Liz. I think it's called Being an Entrepreneur in New York City. Something like that, yeah. But it's an episode on my YouTube, and she takes you through like the whole process of what it's like to open a business in New York City and what it requires and what you can use and helpful resources. And it's honestly like an amazing episode. So use that. So she's given so many free resources, so many tools that you can use to open a business. So I'm not gonna repeat it here. Just watch it later on my YouTube channel, Simply Vika. Yes. And you can catch up on the other episode as well. Like, why not? It helps me grow. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. Please subscribe. It's very important. Very important. What else? Oh, yeah. So something that I want to talk about is, again, we're going back to being on a budget in the city. And New York is an expensive city. So it's not easy to live here. It's you probably gonna have a job, especially if you're a beginner, as like you beginning musician, you don't have your fixed income yet coming only from music. If you're coming here to pursue a music career, you're probably gonna need to find some kind of job for the beginning, right? Like I assume that's what's just gonna happen. And one thing that my suggestion is to find, first of all, if you can freelance your other services, your other things, like for example, I'm a photographer, and because photography, it's not like a 9-to-5 thing, I have a more flexible schedule to work with, and the income is different, and it's it's very different from working 9 to 5 on a random job as an artist. As creatives, trust me, I know if you're creative, I know how hard it is to hold a 9 to 5 job and being in an office or like whatever, because you're a creative soul. First of all, we get bored so easy. So easy. We just like we're checked out after a few days. We're like, okay, this is mundane and boring. I can't do this anymore. If you are a musician, a creative soul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case for all of us, for most of us, right? You're like, boring. So it's really, really hard to find that type of job that you can hold and that can actually, like, that you're not like miserable. So I would recommend, yes, if you have services, if you're a photographer, a videographer, if you do things like that, if there's something else that you love to do and you get paid for, do that, right? Like, it's gonna give you the freedom to actually be in the studio in the middle of the day while other people is doing their 9 to 5. That's really helpful. If you don't have the option and you still need to find your 9 to 5, find a 9 to 5 within the range of what you do, if that makes sense. Like, it's possible to, as a musician, to find a job in the music industry that is still 9 to 5. You can work in a label, publishing company, you can work in a theater, you can work in a live venue, you know, in a bar that has open mics, that host open mics and give you the opportunity to actually like work and practice at the same time. Help in a studio, like being a studio assistant. Something like that in the creative spaces would be a great thing. If you don't want to do that, if you still want to have like your own schedule, but you don't want to freelance and you don't want to work in that sphere, you always have like the regular options like driving for Uber and things like that, which is basically your own schedule. It's not very high pay, but if you're making a little bit money here and there and from music and things like that, so obviously you can do that too. Wait a second. Getting with a mentioned agency, you can find books and gigs for you and advice. Is there any agency you can recommend? If I had any agencies I could recommend, I would be using them, Matt. I wish I had. Listen, so something, okay, so Matt's question was about booking agencies in New York City. So here's the thing with bookers, with booking agencies, with managers, with all this. In order for them to want to work with you, you need to work, like you need to show them that you're worthy to work with, basically. So they would want to work with you when you already touring, when you already booking gigs yourself, if it's not like a family member or a friend who just want to practice on you. An agency won't take you unless you pay them. Like if you pay them monthly fee, yeah, they will like help you out, but that's not the point, right? But an agency won't take you if you're a beginner, if you're not performing constantly, if most of the times they will approach you when you're on stage and not the other way around. So I wouldn't count on that. I would learn how to do it yourself, book your own things, or find a friend, or find maybe a good option actually is to find somebody who's in college, who's studying like music business, who wants to become an agent, a manager, tour manager, whatever it is, to kind of offer them a deal and be like, hey, practice on me, and if they believe in your music, if they truly believe in your music and they think you're going to succeed and they want to take you under their wing and you want to give them the chance, because they're not going to be good in the beginning, they're going to like struggle a little bit, right? But if you want to give them a chance and you want to grow with them, that will be a good option. Like I would definitely recommend something like that for sure. Yeah, but again, friends, family members, people who can help you out in the beginning, that's going to be the first thing you want to do, because, yeah, otherwise it's very hard to find somebody who's actually going to take you, without, like, paying them. Yes. What else? There are a few more things that I wanted to talk about, and it's 9:05. Okay, we still have some time, but I really need some water, so give me one sec. Okay. Let's see what else I want. Do you have any questions so far? If not, I'm just going to continue talking. There's no problem. Give you the mic. Take the mic. Come and take it. Grab the mic. as we all should do all the time, just taking the mic whenever we have the chance, like I'm doing right here. Yes. Oh, okay. So one tip that I want to give you, coming back to getting involved in the music industry, getting to know people, networking, and all things, that are related to what we talked about previously, there is another option that is a great, great, great option for musicians. It's New York is a big city. And again, if you live in a big city or you live close to a big city, you can always go and find music conferences, music festivals, music events, networking events, big conferences. It's a great, things like ASCAP, NAMM, Mondo that I went to 2 months ago, which is a music conference here in New York City. It's called Mondo NYC. These are expensive, but we're talking about budget here, right? So if you are on a budget, but you still want to attend, volunteer at those conferences, at those events. If you can't pay the ticket, because tickets are usually like 300, 400, 500, even if you want to go to, like, what's this big huge festival called? I always forget. There's a huge festival, like a 3-day festival. What's the name? I'm blanking. Fuck, it's like on the tip of my tongue. Do you know what I'm talking about? Shit. I forgot. Anyway, it's like the tickets are super expensive, but guess what? Wow, now I'm like tripping. Now I'm like, what's the festival called? Like, fuck. Okay, if you know, please let me know. But it's mad expensive. If you can't afford it, all those events need volunteers all the times. Sometimes they will even pay you money to be like an usher or to be a photographer or to, whatever it is that you can do, services that you can give. Those places will take you because they need volunteers all the time. And all the volunteers there are going to be musicians just like you, which is the perfect setting to collaborate in. Okay? So use that. If you want to network more and you maybe not necessarily can afford going out every week or attending open mics and things like that because you're very busy, you have 9 to 5, you have all these things, find those little conferences that are happening. And in 3 days, you can meet more people than during a whole month of attending open mics. Obviously, it really depends on you and on the people. Yeah, like I can't guarantee, but you can meet so many people in these settings. So check your volunteer options. ASCAP, NAMM, which is more on the West Coast, and then on the East Coast you have Mondo NYC. You have other things. Like I'm just not, like, obviously I don't know everything. So just do your own research. Check many, many, many options. Do that. Yes. Oh my God, guys, I'm so tired. This week was crazy. And today I woke up at 5. Well, I was supposed to wake up at 5. I woke at 5:30. And I'm so tired. But I'm with you. I promise. Today is my last day of classes in this semester. So I also, I'm very excited that it's finally going to be over for a while until next one. But yeah, I have still a few classes to finish my degree, but today is the last class of this semester, so I'm super excited. But I'm also tired because there were a lot of work to do. There are a lot of papers to turn in, a lot of different things, a lot of work. Yesterday I was working an event, photography, so I'm ugh. But we here because we need to work, right? And we need to advance our careers and we need to do shit. So there's no time to be tired. There's a weekend for that, which I am working on. So no weekend for me. But that's fine. Because we live in New York and we kind of if you move to New York, you kind of need to understand that maybe you're going to give up some weekends because you need to work hard and, you're going to make your career. It was funny. I was talking to my dad the other day. It was 3 days ago. And he was asking me, he's like, so what you been up to? What are you doing? Because he's in Russia, so we talk once a month. So he was like, oh, what you doing? How you been? And I'm like, oh, I'm working. I have a lot of work. I need to work. And he looked at me and he was like, damn, You need to rest. You always working. Can you stop working for a second? Like, can you rest? Like, why are you always working? Go watch TV. And once he said it, I was like, I don't want to watch TV. I'd rather work. Like, I love working. It's fine. Like, I'm tired, but my work is fun. So I actually enjoy it. So that's okay. And then I told him, you know what? I am working now, so I can rest later. And I'm a big believer in that. Like, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, fucking work. Work so later you can be like, I have my passive income because I worked hard. What's Glastonbury? It's not what I meant. What the fuck did I mean? Oh, damn, I forgot the name. Coachella. There you go. I remembered. It's Coachella. Oh my God. Yes, Coachella. That's what I meant. You can volunteer at Coachella. They're always looking for like ushers and staff, you know, to like work in their events. So you can do that. But yes, oh my God, I'm so happy I remembered. Coachella. Now I can go home. Anyway, where was I? I was talking about something. Oh yeah. So you work now, so you can rest later. Oh my God, this is not comfortable for me. There you go. Okay, that's better. Okay. Yes, so you rest now, so you can download festival. Download Small Glassberry. Is it in the United States or the UK? Because I haven't heard of those. Yeah. Anyway, I get distracted so easily. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, this is not a comfortable situation for me. I'm just gonna stick to the normal. Yeah. Where was I? Okay, there's somebody, the two biggest in the world. UK, okay. What about the Burning Man? Isn't that one of the like biggest ones? And then you have the Burning Man, and you have, what's the other one? Wow, I need to sleep. What's the other festival that is crazy? Tomorrowland. There you go. Tomorrowland and the Hanging Man, right? And there's like some other ones that are like worldwide. Like huge. I haven't heard of the Woodstock. Right. There are many festivals. Yeah, and you can like, I guess you can volunteer in many of those. But yeah, so before, like, I'm gonna finish soon. So, and I didn't talk about one important thing that I really, really wanted to talk about regarding living on a budget and being a musician on a budget. I feel like it's very, very important. When you're coming to a new city, when you need to build your studio, you need to buy new equipment, you need to buy outfits for performance, you need to upgrade your gear, whatever it is that you need to do, there's always like two options, right? There's buying new and the other one is buying used. So a good thing about big cities specifically is that we have a lot of options for you to not pay huge amount of money for equipment, because we do have a lot of options to buy used equipment. Obviously, you need to understand what you're buying to not fall for traps, to not buy anything that is not working. Music festival in the United States of America, it's so popular. I need to update my, I don't know any of those that you, like, I know Woodstock, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know many festivals. I guess I never went to like a festival. I'm more like a conference kind of girl. But anyway, so where was I? Yes, you don't have to buy new equipment. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for equipment that you can buy secondhand for half the price. If you can check if everything works properly before you buy it, well, you should be able to check. You can get everything for a cheaper price, because again, we're living on a budget, so you don't necessarily, like, when you're moving, you need to build a whole studio, you need to buy so many things, and it can get really, really expensive. So I would suggest to check Marketplace and OfferUp for buying from people. Or there's an amazing website in America. I don't know if it's in the UK. I'm not sure about like UK, Europe, and other countries. But in America, we have Back Market, which is refurbished things. You can buy a cell phone, a computer, headphones, everything is like refurbished. So it's way cheaper than getting it in a regular price, like on Amazon or any other like Guitar Center or whatever. They have a lot of good things. There are a lot of websites for secondhand equipment that you don't have to buy from people if you don't trust other people. And I understand if you don't trust other people, like I get it, trust me, because sometimes you get burned, sometimes you buy a bullshit equipment that breaks after one day and the person disappears, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, back market guarantees quality, and you can always return things if you're not satisfied. So you can always go to these places and buy things that are lower price. If you go to other websites, even on Amazon, sometimes you can buy like an open box or used equipment. It's guaranteed. Just make sure you buy it from Amazon and not from like third-party sellers, because then it's a little bit more complicated to return and talk to them. But you can always, always, always search for cheaper options. Yeah, so that's like an option. That's like you can maybe like borrow things in the beginning. You can rent. I'm not a big fan of renting equipment because you still pay money and it's not yours. So, but maybe like bartering certain things, doing things like that. Which reminds me. Okay, wait. Okay. 2 things that I still need to mention. So we talked about used equipment. Now, if you need to buy outfits for shows or for music videos and things like that, use thrift stores. For sure, use thrift. Like don't go to Zara to buy like a stage outfit that you're gonna use one time, or like to buy overalls for your entire crew for a music video in Zara, right? Like go to a thrift store, find everything that you can find, crazy things in there, super fashionable, super like music video-y, because it's like, there's so many styles in there. There are a lot of thrift stores in New York. And in the big cities, I'm sure like there are. Again, I haven't been to the UK. I haven't explored the scene in Europe in like thrift stores and stuff, but I'm sure there are. So, but here in America, you have a lot of thrift stores, especially if you go to Brooklyn. It's a little bit cheaper than in the city, or even like Goodwill and places like that. You can always find things. You don't have to buy firsthand everything, especially if you're on a budget. It's not necessary, because you can find amazing things for cheaper. Which leads me to my last point that I'm going to mention today, because I'm going to go soon. Don't use Temu if it's for music. No, Temu, no. Don't buy music equipment from Temu, AliExpress, Shane. No. Please don't. Like, yeah, Matt, you're completely right. Like, these are not things for that. Like, no, I don't recommend. I never tried, but I never had it in mind to even like try to use. For me, like Temu and Shane and AliExpress, it's like for crap that you can break after one day, and it's fine because it costs $1. This is fine, but definitely not for music equipment. Music equipment, try to find something, worthy. You don't want to buy an interface from Temu. Have you ever done that? Have you ever tried, or you're just saying because it's like, or you've been burned before? Tell us. I'm curious. But cheap, buy. That's why they did this. Yeah, there you go. Buy cheap, buy twice. That's true. I mean, in equipment sense, yes. But for example, when it comes to like clothes and stuff like that, I can easily buy off brand, and that's fine, because I don't believe in brands too much. I mean, I can buy brands if it's nice, if I like the quality, if it's not too expensive. But I realize that sometimes I would buy clothes that are shoes. I buy branded because shoes are important for my feet. And again, not all the time, but like I'm trying. But clothes, yeah, I can find a store that is like off brand and the quality is amazing and it holds more than the Zara shirt that I buy for like $100 more. So it really depends. But definitely for music things and for equipment and for technology, you want to invest a little and buy something that is, actually branded and guaranteed, and not some crap that you found somewhere like a fake. No, you don't want to do that. But yeah, before we finish, something that I wanted to mention is it's something that I think it's relevant for musicians, but not only. And I think it's relevant for people living anywhere, but it's easier in big cities, obviously, because we have more people here, but you can use it everywhere. But what do you do when you don't have money to pay people to help you build your career? I'll give an example. What do you do when you need to shoot a music video and you don't have money to pay for your crew? What do you do when you need a production made of a song and you don't have the money to afford that? What do you do when you need a photo shoot for your article that's coming out and you can't afford a photographer because we're expensive? What do you do? I'll tell you what do you do. You barter. You need to barter these services. You need to understand how you are benefiting other people so you can give them something in exchange for their help to you. It's something that artists and creatives do all the time. Think about something you have that other people might need. For example, I'm a photographer, right? I am, yeah. I can barter their services. And if I'm a photographer and another musician needs a photo shoot, I'll give them this photo shoot for free and they will give me a free beat. Or they will help me shoot my music video. Or they have a rehearsal space. Anything like that. So for me, it's photo shoots. I can help with photo shoots. I can help with videography. I can help with lyric writing. I can give you vocals for your song. I can do a lot of things like that. But at the same time, if you don't have any of this, what can you do? Like there's so many things. Like maybe you can help somebody with their copywriting, with their Instagram marketing, teach them something they don't know, participate in their music video, do something, There's so many things you can do. That other people might need. Just think about that. But so you don't necessarily need to go and think, okay, I need to pay $1,000 for my music video, $500 for my photo shoot, $300 for my outfits, $1,000 for the production of the new song that I'm working on, and you end up with like nothing because you either can't afford it, so you don't do that, or you can afford it, but then you're broke. And if that's not the case for you, then congrats, you're in a good stance and you have a lot of money. I'm proud of you, you made it. But for most of us, moving to the city, it takes time to build up to that point. So you don't have to pay for everything out of pocket all the time. If you do open a business, remember taxes. Remember? Yes. But still, you can always barter. When I was shooting my music video, Biggity Biggity, I paid minimum amount for photographers because they wanted to gain the experience. So the videographers, they wanted to gain the experience. So I found those who I liked that also benefited from building their portfolio from me. I know it's annoying sometimes, but it worked for both of us. If you don't want to work for free, I absolutely understand and I respect that. But if it works for both sides, that's absolutely amazing. If you can both benefit from something that you do, great. They needed to build their portfolio. I didn't have a lot of money. We made it work. For my people, I had like 10 people on set that I needed to, that were participating in the music video. I couldn't pay them, but I offered each one of them, if they ever needed a photo shoot, they get a free photo shoot from me. No one asked because they enjoyed so much from the music video. It was so fun. So they never were like, oh, you promised me and I promised them a dinner. So I was like, I'll buy you a dinner and you have a free photo shoot from me. They never required that. They just had fun with the music video. They enjoyed it. It was a fun experience. So that was fun. I paid a little bit for the makeup artist. And I wrote a Facebook post and I was like, I'm looking for this, and this, and this. I'm on a budget. So please I understand that it's annoying. I would love to pay everyone exactly the amount they worth, which is a lot. But sometimes you can't, and sometimes you'll find that people want to help you. People want to participate in these things, so they don't require too much money. But you don't know if you don't ask. So ask, just ask. I found a cheap studio to shoot the music video, and I searched, I looked, and I compared options, and eventually. And another thing, like for example, for the editing of my music video, which here in America it will cost a lot of money to edit a music video, but because I had connections in Russia, I through my videographer, he found his friend in Russia who didn't charge that much according to Russian currency that I could actually afford to edit my music video. So if you can't afford something, and again, I'm a big believer in paying everyone what they deserve. I really do. And I'm working to the point that I can actually do that. But sometimes that's not the case. And I was shooting Biggity Biggity after 1 year that I was in New York. So I was still on a budget. I was paying for school, for rent, for everything else. Couldn't afford too much. But people came to help me. I found an option for myself to still make it happen. And didn't use anyone. I didn't lie to anyone. I didn't steal from anyone. People wanted to genuinely help me. And it worked. So there's always an option. So just make sure that you are looking for those options and you will find. That's the European side of you. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I mean, there is a solution for every problem. And as my mom likes to say, if there's a solution, it's not a problem. So there's a way to make everything happen, even if you're on a budget. There's always a solution to anything. And if you need more advice, if you need practical tips, if you need links to resources, please DM me later and I will send it to you and we'll talk later because I need to run to school, so I need to finish. Remember that January 3rd, my new song Enigma is coming out. It's going to be exciting. And if you still haven't checked out my book, Pretty and Alone, it's on Amazon and the link is in my bio. Pretty and Alone, Simply Vika on Amazon. If you can get the book, it's a poetry book, I will be so freaking happy. And if you want the book but you can't afford it, please let me know and we'll figure something out because I just want you to read it. I just want you to read it. I'm going to do a giveaway soon. I'm going to do a giveaway for the book. Yes, I will. But anyway, I need to finish. So guys, thank you so much. Oh, you're reading it right. Yay, you're reading my book. I'm so happy. Let me know how that goes. Let me know what you think. We need to collaborate. Yes, can you DM me about this? Because I'm working on a new album and I can use some people on this album. So please DM me because I do want to collaborate with you. I remember we talked about it. But yeah, anyway, I need to finish. I love you too, Mom. Oh, my mom is watching. So yes, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. If you didn't join on time and you want to catch the entire episode, it's going to be on YouTube today. I'm going to do that today. So it's going to be posted very soon on YouTube and it's going to be posted here on Instagram. And yeah, again, I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, please go to the chat section and we will talk. And for you YouTube people, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys too. If you want to join next time for a live, it's going to be on my Instagram. So Simply Vika, it's Simply Vika on Instagram and it's going to be live there. I'm doing lives only when I'm alone. When I do have a guest, I don't have lives. But if you're watching YouTube, I guess that's fine. And you're watching it on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining me. All the links are down below. Feel free to check out any other content that I have posted on my channel. That's going to be a big help. And yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Newtown Radio. It was so fun. I love you guys too. Thank you for joining me live. And please enjoy the section of the music.